Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I have something kind of new. We're going to kick it back to my scrapbooking days and we're going to create a December daily 2023 album. If you have not followed, for years Ali Edwards has done December daily. There's lots of different versions of this kind of album out there. And when I saw the Spellbinders Make It Merry kit that was released this July 2023, I saw it and it is a card making kit, but I was immediately inspired to create a traveler's notebook December daily album that really just requires some photos and journaling to complete. So what I have is an album that I can then add memories to during the busy holiday season. It only takes a little bit of work. I'm not going to call this quick because it did take some time to do all of the different pages. And the main part was setting the December daily book together. Let's start with a quick unboxing. So this is what you get in the kit. Of course, it comes beautifully packaged from Spellbinders. You get the little information card, 2 sizes of cards and envelopes, tons of ephemera, sequins, jewels, foam, lots of chipboard stickers, puffy stickers, 6x6 pattern paper, and cardstock. And I am going to start with that cardstock. Let's show you the pattern paper because I am trying to keep to mostly components from the kit just to simplify things. And really, you get everything you need. And just an FYI, I will have a second video showing cards from this kit because I have so much left over. Now, one thing I do want to mention is there is an accessory floral kit for Make It Merry, plus there are some dies. I'm not going to use the dies for my album, but I did use the accessory florals. So what I'm going to do is go through the cardstock included in the kit, and I am really trying to figure out what all I need, how many pages I need, what colors of cardstock I want to use, all of those things. I also have a 12 by 12 Scor-Pal here, and that Scor-Pal is going to allow me to score my cardstock. I am not going to trim down my cardstock yet. I would prefer to leave it full size until I cut it down, and you'll see why. So at the halfway mark, so 5.5 inches for an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, I am going to score all of my cardstock pieces that I'm using. I chose mostly more of the traditional colors, but I am pulling in some of the pink for my album. And I'm going to continue doing this. There is quite a bit of white in here. There's red, maroon, black, green, but still lots of cardstock left over because I'm really just using 1/2 sheet because I am going to use front and back for my December daily, and I'm only designing through the 25th of December. If I want to later, I can go back in and add the rest of the days, but generally by the 25th I'm done. So I have laid all of my pages together. I'm counting to see how many more I need. And for this, let me see how many I ended up using. I am using 8 pieces of cardstock. That's going to give me plenty for my album. Now, you will need a couple of extra tools. Obviously, I'm using the Scor-Pal here. You could just fold it in half and use a bone folder or, something to make a nice crease. I personally really love the Scor-Pal. I have both the Scor-Pal and the mini Scor-Pal, and I use them all of the time. It really is handy if you're needing score lines. I've had these for years. They are not new. Next, we want to put our cardstock in the order we want for our traveler's notebook insert. Now, you would need a traveler's notebook cover for this, or you'd need to make a cover if you're going to do something similar. I picked up my cover from Studio Calico. It is a gray leather-like cover. It may even be leather, I don't know. And that is what I'm using for mine, but you can find them all over the place, even on Amazon. Once I have all of my sheets and I have them in the order that I want, I am going to use a bookbinding tool. This is the other tool that you would need in addition to some of the other things. Really, the only outside sources are a cover, my Scor-Pal, the bookbinding tool, and then some extra dies. And other than that, I really just stuck to the components. I am going to do a little opening of the ephemera and things included in the kit, but you get so many embellishments, so much pattern paper, so much cardstock. You really have everything you need. So this is the We Are Memory Keepers bookbinding tool, and it's got everything you need. It's got the kind of waxy twine or string to bind it. It's got the tool here. You unscrew it. And what I'm going to do is I am going to stack. I'm opening up all of my sheets. I want to pierce them all at once, all 8. And I'm going to line them up with where I want to create my binding. And I'm going to go ahead then and just screw this back in place, make it nice and tight so that it stays put. And then there is an awl or a piercing tool, and I am going to go along those lines and I am going to pierce. You wouldn't want to do it too close to the edge, and I had to kind of push, or almost like a screwdriver motion for some of these, and then it got a little easier. So I'm not exactly sure, but I am going to pierce just down the center all the way down. You probably wouldn't have to do this. You could do this yourself with a piercing tool if you wanted to maybe measure this. This tool makes it very easy. If you want to create your own traveler's notebook inserts, highly recommend it. I really, really love it. And I'm kind of looking forward to maybe making some more traveler's notebook style of albums or projects. You guys will have to let me know. I know I mentioned at the beginning of the video that we're throwing it back to my scrapbooking days. I know a lot of you have followed me from my scrapbooking days, and I just don't scrapbook like the 12 by 12 or even 8.5 by 11 that I used to do anymore. And I definitely don't share it. There's a multitude of reasons, but mostly I have older children that would prefer not to be featured. And that is mostly what I would have to scrapbook, other than my dogs. So I really just don't do that a lot anymore. However, a December daily project is a really great way to kind of be able to get some of that inspiration and be able to share some of that. Now you can use your own embroidery floss or whatever you prefer. There is a needle. There's a couple of options for needles actually, but I'm going to use the standard needle, and I'm just going to go back and forth. I actually used more than you need. I think you only have to go like back and forth once. I did 3 times that amount because I don't want it to be too short at all. Now this is the most important part. We want to start in the center, and I'm going to start on the inside pages. And again, I have not cut down my traveler's notebook yet. And we are going to simply, I'm going to leave a little tail here so that we can tie that in a knot at the end. But starting in the center from the inside, we are going to bookbind. We're going to sew our traveler's notebook together. I am going up and down. So this string that comes in the kit is waxed. It is a dream to sew with. It really is. I was able to sew this in no time flat, you guys. Absolutely amazing. Super awesome. If you are looking to create your own bookbinding projects, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be like Traveler's Notebook or anything, but if you're just looking for something like that. Now, when we get to the end, I'm going to go back the other way. I find I want this to be as secure as possible. So, and I don't want my pages like being flimsy at all. There are other ways to bind the Traveler's Notebooks. I had to do a little research before I started this, looking at different ways that people do this. Some people like staple, those can get loose. And ultimately, I settled on the look I personally like is the sewn look, and it's very easy to do. if you have that We Are Memory Keepers bookbinding tool. So that's what I went with. And once you reach that halfway mark, we're going to go back down the other way for our traveler's notebook and come back. So it is the same thing, up and back. And then when we get back to the center, we will tie it in a knot in the center. It ends up being a super tiny knot. You hardly see it. When the album is completely put together, you will see the center spread for my traveler's notebook when we get to that in the video, but I absolutely love it. I should mention too, I know this is a longer video than what I often will share here on my paper crafting channel, and that is just because it is a full album. There is a lot of content. I will be speeding up through creating and assembling some of the pages. I have not scrapbooked on camera in some time, and I kind of forgot how time consuming it can be to move all of the little elements around to get them exactly like you want. The other thing that I found made this project easy was I did several pages. I kind of jumped around in my album a little bit. I did several pages that I liked so much that I found I kind of repeated those design elements throughout the album. So there's going to be pages that have like a large Polaroid frame. There's going to be pages that feature lots of tags. There's going to be pages that have like a collage of ephemera, tags and frames and embellishments. Okay, I have tied a knot in the center of my traveler's notebook. Now comes the fun part. And by fun, I mean can be kind of tricky. So I really had hoped that my Tim Holtz rotary cutter would cut through this. It's too many pages, you guys. I kind of assumed that cardstock is thick. You need to cut it when it is folded into a book. I'm going to use my bone folder just to help me get that nice crease. See how the pages are not all even? This is why I have waited till now to cut down my pages, because I want my traveler's notebook to be as even as possible. I will tell you, I did attempt my Tim Holtz rotary cutter and I found it didn't work. In fact, here it is. So I'm trying, it's not going to go. Okay, so here is my solution. If you have something that is too thick for any of your trimmers to go through, grab a ruler and try not to do what I just did, and a utility knife. This is my box cutter. I needed a new blade. I couldn't find them. Of course, I found them like a week and a half after I filmed this. I'm not even kidding. Of course. Anyway, and go ahead and cut through all of them. What I would suggest, and what I did wrong, don't try to cut through all of them at once. Cut through as many as you can. I'm going to actually shorten this maybe by 1/8 of an inch. It's going to be, so my pages will be slightly skinnier than what I wanted, but that's okay. So my pages are going to be about 3 3/4, I think, maybe just slightly less, by 8.5. Just cut through a few pages at a time and then remove them. Cut through a few more pages, and eventually you will get all the way through. So just gently go along that ruler. And I left this in so you could see the process. I know it's kind of tricky and messy, but you end up with a wonderful traveler's notebook. And this is the best way I found to get your pages nice and even. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so happy. Look at this. Oh, I cannot wait to put it all together. So excited. Okay, let's move all of this stuff out of the way. And again, I'm just going to go over my bookbinding a few times. The more you open and close it, the easier. So here is that cover from Studio Calico that I was talking about. And actually those 2 rubber bands or bands inside are for 2 books. So you would put 1 book here. If you want to add another traveler's notebook inside, you would add that one to the other band. I'm only going to have, I think, this one in here, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start putting it all together. Let's do a little unboxing of the ephemera. So first up, and what really set me to making a December daily album, also would be fantastic for advent calendars, and you get enough that you could do both, are all these little number tags. These number tags are adorable, and I thought they would be perfect to embellish each page of my December daily album. I want to go ahead and find all of my numbers and lay those out. I'm going to speed up all of the unboxing simply because it is a little bit time consuming. So even though this is sped up, I really wanted to show you just everything you get. And I am sorting my ephemera by style. So a lot of like the long skinny tags, date tags, word tags, I'm sorting it because I have a little baking tin, any kind of container that has like some dividers in it would be fantastic for this. But I want to divide all of the components so that it's easy for me to find them when I go to put my December daily together. So I'm really sorting it out by tags, by numbers, by embellishments. Let's open up the next package. This has more imagery. There are some word tags though, and anything that is kind of a like type of item. So if it is peppermints, let's say, or if it's multiple stockings or multiple houses or multiple trees, I'm going to pull those components and I am going to put those together. And when you see my baking dish or tin, that is how I sorted things and how I'm leaving them, because I want to use them. Not only am I going to make cards with them, but if I get to December and I want to add additional items to my album, I can easily do that because it's easy to find. There are 2 of everything in here. Now, I realize that I forgot to turn my camera on and I did the cover of my book, which you saw there. And I love it. It's got a big quote on the front. In fact, let's insert a photo. Because I forgot to record it, you can see I started with my large Christmas season quote in the middle. I actually cut a large snowflake in half and tucked it at the top and the bottom, added more snowflakes, some heart ephemera, some chipboard pieces, chipboard numbers, and all of the things to make my cover page. Let's go on to page number 1. For page number 1, I've got my number and I'm going to start playing around with some different pieces. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to go, and this first page inspired many of the pages you will see throughout the rest of the album, as I am going to be adding lots of collage pages. There are so many fun ephemera and die cuts and tags and frames in this kit that it really makes it fun. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and that way you can watch it all come together. So I kind of changed my mind from my initial idea, and I am starting with bunches of different little tags, pieces, and you're going to see how things change as I am working through this. And this is what I meant at the beginning of the video when I said I had forgotten just how time consuming I suppose it could be to move all the little parts and pieces around. However, once you get in a groove, it does come together lots faster. Now, I will say some of my favorite things in this kit are the tags, the puffy little bubble stickers, and all of the chipboard. I love it. Don't be afraid to add those little pieces to your album. It's going to make it a little chunky, but I kind of love that. And it's not super chunky. There's nothing super huge here in my traveler's notebook. So you're kind of seeing it, how it's all coming together, seeing things change. Now, the chipboard stickers are self-adhesive. However, I would highly, highly recommend, when you have determined where you want things to go in your album, secure them with liquid glue. The adhesive I have found does not stick that great, and so I went ahead and just permanently secured everything once I had it where I wanted it to go. I didn't really like that brown washi tape I used. I want to make a note. Have a little piece of washi tape available if possible. We probably all have some in our stash. It doesn't have to match. I'm kind of funny, and so that is why I had mine match. And I really love these snow globes and building these snow globes. There's a couple of different sizes in the kit. You're going to see them used throughout. But the reason I say have some washi, that little Polaroid frame is a frame. It's one of the ephemera pieces. I also created some of my own, but I want to put a photo under there. That is my goal. So I want to attach that with washi so it's easy to slip the photo under, and then I can secure it in December. Anywhere else, like the tags and things, I've left plenty of room because I can add journaling. I could handwrite journaling, or my other idea is instead of handwriting, you could print it on a printer, use the clear sticker paper that you can get at discount stores or Amazon, and you could print your journaling in any size you want, make a sticker out of it, and attach it. If you guys know me, that's probably what I'm going to do because I am kind of crazy and I don't really like writing in my album. I'm a little bit afraid I'll mess up after I've secured everything in. So more than likely, I'll be creating my own stickers. Now, you might be wondering, why did you skip to December 24th and 25th? I didn't want too many of the same style of pages right next to each other. So when I started out creating my traveler's notebook, I moved around a lot. Now, I actually didn't do the 25th until a little bit later. I thought I was going to do it now, but I'm going to do the 24th. This is my first little pocket page I am creating as far as a little pocket for a tag. This pocket is a Hero Arts die, and you might have noticed me stamping a little bit. I do have a few stamps included in my album. I may add more stamping, you know, when December rolls around. We'll just see, because there are lots of little parts and pieces tags like this that I stamped on. These are perfect for taking stamps you have in your stash and customizing. If the new Simon Says stamp, I think, what is that one called? It's a journaling stamp set, had been out when I had first created this, I would have. It is out now, but I think it's a great one for daily things as well. You can even make some of your own inserts. So that is an option if you want to add even more little pockets and things to your album. And customize it with some stamping. My stamps are mainly from Carrie Bradford's studio and Studio Calico. They have really great journaling and scrapbooking style of stamps. For me, I always kind of look at it that there's stamps that I like to use for card making, and then there's stamps that I prefer for scrapbooking or art journaling or those kind of things. Now, I love this stripe paper, and I'm actually going to use it for a border along the top and the bottom of the page. This page took a little bit of work to get it how I want it to look, and I did constantly have to remind myself while working in my album that I want to leave room for journaling, leave room for photos. Don't fill the whole thing. I want it to be a very complete album that, if I'm busy, requires minimal effort. And let's be real, most of us are so super busy in December, and it's probably, pardon me, why I have not been successful with December Daily in the past, because I have left it until November, December to put together. And at that point, I just don't have the time or brain power. And here in July, when this was created, I did. And so that's one of the reasons why I was really excited about this project. And I hope you guys are too, if you think about doing something similar. My page is coming together, and just like before, I'm going to speed this up a little bit to save some time and show you where I end up. I like the stripe at the top and the bottom. And this piece of cardstock, or pattern paper, pardon me, actually was used multiple times because I think it was one of my favorites. There's several in this 6x6 paper pad that are my favorite. This is one, And actually, I kind of wish I had not cut it up the way I had to begin with, because I messed up a couple of things, but that's okay. There is an additional paper pad available, so I can always pick up another one. But wouldn't it be cute to like make your own journaling cards? Like I'm using it as a scrap piece of paper here, or to stamp on to make sure I'm stamping correctly, but I love it. Customizing some of the tags, customizing some of the pages. I love that that tag pulls out. I can add a photo, I could add journaling, all kinds of fun things later. Skipping forward back to the beginning of my book now, you'll notice there's a lot of that, and then I gradually just kind of fill in and go from front to back. But I'm back to page 2 and 3, and for this one, I think this is one of 2 times that I made a cohesive design somewhat across 2 pages. So for 2 and 3, or at least it started out that way, I have got my numbers up at the top, and that's it. I've left tons of room, lots of room to add journaling. I could make more frames if I wanted to, or just have full pages of journaling, or maybe add photo collages that I've printed to this. But the scene is going to be built along the bottom of my card. And I'm back to using the stripe paper, and I am using it right next to each other creative-wise or creatively, meaning I just use this in the back of the book. Now I'm using it in the front. That's one of the reasons I skipped around a lot at the beginning. I've also gathered up all of the little house or church ephemera, and also one of the car images that are included in the packs in the kit, because I want to build a cute little scene down along the bottom edge. I've pieced together my pattern paper so that it fits nicely how I want it to look. And if you don't have binder clips big enough, I know a lot of people who work in travelers notebooks or planners or whatever use those binder clips. I actually didn't have any, but guess what? I have multiple pairs of reverse tweezers. You guys probably do too. They work great. That's what I use them for when creating in this album. I'm all about problem solving. Okay, we're going to just kind of trim up these little buildings. And as I mentioned, I'm building the scene across both pages. It's not going to completely fill in all of the area, but I am going to use some chipboard stickers and even some stamps and puffy stickers to finish this off. Everything except for the stamps is included in the kit. So you probably have some Christmas stamps you could use. I'm going to put, now that December is here, ... fa la 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 la. And then I've got the chipboard stickers from the kit, home for the holidays and have yourself a merry little Christmas, let your heart be light. I love building scenes, even with ephemera, and this works perfectly. I love how it looks. Absolutely adorable. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this page, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit. And again, I am gluing things down once I have committed to where I want them to go. I love the little red puffy heart coming out of the chimney. I love the puffy Joy to the World sticker coming from the car. I'm almost thinking about the Griswolds singing in their car in Christmas Vacation. That was kind of my influence there. And then we're just going to glue our numbers up at the top. I can always add more. You can always add more to your pages. I did a really good job leaving lots of room here. Some of the pages I definitely added more, but I think that that's good because I also know that there will be days that I'm just going to add a few lines of text and that's it. So here I've got my stamps. We'll add those to the page. I'm going to stamp those with some black and red inks, and we're going to move on to pages 4 and 5. Now I did build a whole scene on page 4. I think I did not record that part, but I literally just grouped ephemera together. Lots of ephemera. I did add a little stamping on that little green scallop tag that says getting in the holiday spirit, but that reindeer, probably my favorite die cut in the whole thing. It was what inspired everything in this kit, but then I ended up loving so many of the other elements as well, but that reindeer is adorable. And I'm trying to figure out my tags for the right side. I did 2 library pockets here, but these tags they're the pre-mades. They don't really fit that great. And I decided ultimately that I am going to make my own out of that big bold stripe pattern paper that I shared earlier. So again, just kind of customizing this, adding ephemera, labels, all that good stuff to the pockets. I'm going to add little tabs to my pockets and finish up this page. This was one of my harder pages to create, and I think it's because I tried so hard to make the tags work, and then ultimately I decided on the pattern paper tags, which were much better, but then they were too tall, and it was a little bit of work, and sometimes that happens. That is okay. Give yourself grace. You know, it is what it is. Like, they're too tall, they're hanging over each other. I want them to be shorter, stumpier little tags. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, these are so cute. I love it. But now I have to embellish them. And I kept trying to add way too many embellishments, too much stamping. I need to leave more room. I can leave room because I could end up adding like little photos to these, or journaling that pulls out, you know, all that good stuff. So, when I decided that, it all ended up working better, but I think it's beneficial to show the process, to show the thought process and where you ultimately end up. I'm using the Hero Arts Cherry ink. I should mention that. I only used pink, red, and black inks in my album, and I love it. And this is a Carrie Bradford set that I'm using right now. I just customized that little present ephemera. I'm going to customize those at the end of the video for some of the final pages I worked on. They may be final pages that I worked on, but they probably are not final in the book because I worked out of order. Okay, time to move on. We've got pages 8 and 9, which is funny, we're skipping 6 and 7. I come back to those. This is where I revisited the collage page, which you see the collage page. It's already been assembled over on the right side. And this is where I come up with the big Polaroid. This is, I think, the second largest Polaroid. The biggest one won't fit in the Hero Arts Infinity frame dies. And this is going to just be temporarily taped down. And this page went through a few variations, but ultimately I love the red Mary chipboard stickers. I love the wood grain pattern paper. So that's our frame. And we're going to do the large Mary. We're going to stamp a little phrase. And then what I love that ties it all together, I have a scattering of snowflakes, but there's a lot of snowflakes, but there's not going to be enough for the whole album. So one of my favorite little hacks is cutting embellishments in half. It could be peppermints, snowflakes, whatever it might be, stars, but you can scatter them. So you're going to see that kind of come together here. I'm going to add a little chipboard sticker with my number that's going to embellish the top right corner of my Polaroid frame. And I'm going to use my little washi to tape down the corners. This is my temporary tape down. However, I probably will leave it on for the finished album. I'll just secure the frame and the photo that goes behind it a little bit better. So I'm just going to do these kind of at a diagonal. And then I'm going to grab a little acrylic block and I'm going to stamp it off. Every time I stamped off. This is the pink grapefruit color ink from Hero Arts. And we want to see where the word Mary is going to go. And I'm just going to stamp right in my album. I know, living on the edge. I even had to line it back up. I can't believe I was able to do that. Then we are going to glue the word Mary down. And again, I highly recommend securing it with liquid glue. But I love this. So we've got room for a photo. We've got lots of room down below where we could add journaling, or if we don't feel like it, we don't have to. Or the frame could include the journaling if you don't have a photo to share that day. There's lots of different ways to use these pages. That was kind of my goal, was to make it, if I want to add photos, I can. If I end up not adding photos, that's okay. Or I could just take, you know, photos from decor and things around the house, or maybe something that we do that day, and I can always add it, or do during the holiday season and add it wherever. I'm all about making it work. And I know I've mentioned this, but I'm very, very excited about this project this year because it's just been a really long time since I've done this. And I think it's because I wait till the last minute. And using a kit does take a lot of the guesswork out of it. Oh, I love it. I love this page so much. Now, I do feel like it's missing something. This is where I came up with the snowflakes, and this is what I wanted to show you. I don't have enough of these to do. I like a trio of embellishments. I always like threes: card making, scrapbooking, journaling, art journal, whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this guy in half. We're going to cut him in half. We're going to have him up at the top. We're going to have him at the bottom. And then we have that other pink snowflake that we can add. Absolutely love, love, love this page. Now, this page was the first one where I did a large frame. You're going to see this one kind of replicated throughout the book now in a couple of other places. Anytime I did a design, like the collage page for the 9th, or this page with the large frame, I tried to do it in a few different places. It takes the guesswork out of coming up with a new idea for every page. You don't have to. It can be very similar. It's not going to be exactly the same because I don't have the same components, but it's going to be similar. Oh, and I guess I already did do pages 6 and 7. So sorry, I didn't show those. It's a tag page, which I will have more of those later. And that's replicated. And then we have just like a big page with big journaling or big words. And we will, it leaves room to probably put some journaling or something on that page. Okay, we are going to work now on the center design. So remember earlier I said this was going to be the page that is the other page that has more of a cohesive where the two sides meet. This is tons and tons of the Hero Arts Infinity Polaroid frame die cut from the pattern paper included in the Make It Merry kit. I did most of that off camera. I'm not planning on putting photos in all of these. So when I die cut the frame and it had a contrasting color, or the inside color, I should say, I just swapped those around where I could. I left some of the frames for photos, and I did a little greeting on its side, which I love. So I know I did most of that off camera, but it's just a lot of die cutting and adhering. Okay, let's move on. At this point, I really have the basis or a nice foundation for the rest of my album. So I am going to speed this up, and I'm to show you where I started for pages 12 and 13 to where I actually ended up, which is kind of funny because it ends up looking a little different than this. I really like a mix of ways to add numbers and, you know, all of that. So there, it may not be up in the top in every page. And I also love things to not be completely matchy-matchy. So I like the little layered element up at the top, and then you're going to see down at the bottom, instead of having a block with, or a die cut that's more of a rectangle or square or tag, there's going to be the number for the day and then an embellishment, a chipboard embellishment. And we're just going to fill in. We're going to add ephemera to some things. We've got another one of those little, that's a die cut Polaroid frame that came in the kit. That's one of the pre-made ephemera pieces. It's really similar in size to the Hero Arts one. That's kind of what influenced me to go look in my stash for that frame die. I'm layering, you'll notice I've layered down underneath that little postcard. I layered one of the other pieces that have words kind of at an angle a little bit. I love the little peaky, little less than perfect design for a pretty graphic collage page. And then over on the right side, we're going to hang our ornaments from our banner. And then in that big space down below, I'm going to use kind of a mid-size Polaroid frame, which I didn't use a ton of, but I can always go back and add more of those later on if I need to. I drew in some little lines with my pen so that the ornaments hang. But that's what I was talking about, grouping your like embellishments. You can do that for your cards as well. Let that, inspire you for your card making. Okay, I really am just going to speed it up and talk you through the rest of the album. So the 25th gave me fits. I really wanted it to look a certain way, and ultimately I decided big frame. So we've got my big text frame here, and then I'm going to group my peppermints, again trimming them a little bit, and then I wanted to add that Santa head, and I'm going to have him with a couple of fun thought bubbles. I simplified it and I ended up being really, really happy, and I went with a pink and red color scheme, which I'm really loving. I really love the pinks that I'm seeing this year, even down to the little chipboard tag I added to my frame. I ended up loving the 25th. So I need to go back. What do we need to fill in? Well, it looks like we need the 16th and 17th. So here is how I put together the mini tag page. Remember earlier I said that I had done one and it inspired kind of repeating that throughout the design or throughout the album, where I have this tag. This is from the Spellbinders tag kit or die set. It's my favorite. I love it. You've probably seen me use this tag many times. It's because it's my favorite, but I love it, repeat it. So I've die cut the pattern paper from the kit. I'm layering chipboard pieces, ephemera, numbers, all of that stuff. And then I'm leaving a space for a clear sticker with journaling. That's basically on any page that has lots of tags or lots of stuff. I am planning that's a no photo page, or you can always add it, on the page next to it if you needed to. Lots of cute little stickers and ephemera there. Then kind of what I like to do when I have a big tag page is leave a little more room. So we've got a big ephemera piece, chipboard stickers, word stickers, easy, leave room down below, journaling, photo, whatever you want it to be. I did something a little different we're kind of moving back, page 10 and 11. I went with the gold puffy word stickers, and I've got these going a different direction. And I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do here. I'm playing around with lots of florals, but ultimately I simplified it a lot. I figured I could do a whole row of photos, like a Polaroid strip of photos. I could do a big journaling block, especially because on the 11th, we're going to go back to that same tag design. Actually, when I die cut all those tags from the previous page I just showed you, I doubled up and die cut 2. That way I had 2 stacks of those and I could do another tag page. That was kind of how I made this go quicker. So I could add photos from that page from the 11th here as well, just kind of whatever ends up happening. But I like leaving some room when I have a page that's filled with stuff. And you can really see the process here of adding, chipboard stickers, ephemera, and all that good stuff there. I think then we just have a few pages in the back left to do. These went together so easy. Once you have some pages you like, so now we've moved on to the 18th and the 19th, back to my collage page where I've got lots of tags and blocks of text and things like that. I even added all of those florals underneath the banner. And then on the page on the right, which will be for the 19th, large Polaroid frame, a couple of word chipboard stickers, ephemera stickers, and leave lots of room. Just kind of think of it as giving your eye a place to rest, I guess, if you will. I'm anxious to see this all filled out. You guys will have to make sure and remind me that in December especially at the end of December, to maybe share a little walkthrough or a reel or a short or something of that. And then as I'm getting to the end of the project, so you'll notice I start sticking some of those cute little scallop tags. It could be a little strip tag, sentiment strip or something on a card, but I love the scallops, so I'm tucking them underneath different elements on my pages. I added a little floral here that softens the page a little bit too. Just so many fun ways to use all the parts and pieces. And I'm amazed at how much I have left over because I felt like I really went all in with everything I used for my album. Okay, so I just kind of skipped ahead and to the 20th and the 21st. Again, another of the tag pages. And then I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing a big collage on the 21st with a snow globe and trees and candy canes and then a little banner, leaving plenty of room. I'm loving that little border down at the bottom that features the tiny snow globe and some fun things. I customized a couple of these presents with a stamp that I have from Studio Calico. I'm just inking up portions of it. It has little checklists on it that I thought was kind of fun. Just look at your supplies, see what you can group together. It's just a very, very fun project. I really loved the trees from the ephemera kit, and I think these are the final 2 trees that I had. So I was making it work with my design. I filled in with some candy canes and because I didn't have any more trees that I could put around my snow globe. Oh, I love it. I think that pink greeting looks really nice with that pink 21. Glue everything down. And I was really excited at this point because we're very close to finishing. We just have the 22nd and 23rd. These were my final 2 pages that I made. And I'm going to do my tag collage again. And then we're going to do a Polaroid frame with some hanging stockings over on the left side. Layered up stickers, chipboard, added my last little ephemera Polaroid frame. Just a lot of repetition. You're going to see lots and lots of repetition throughout, but I think that makes for a very cohesive album. Play around with different elements to see what works. And finally, we've got our last page. Very easy little wood grain frame I'm going to tape in place. I actually ended up having to move that because I want to put a chipboard sticker above the frame and that was going to run into the washi tape. So we'll move it a little bit. And then I've got my stockings looking like they're hung from the frame. And there we go. Let's walk through all of the pages in real time. So here is the cover of my Traveler's Notebook. We've got December 1st, December 2nd and 3rd, December 4th and 5th, collage, and then fun little interactive pockets. The 6th and the 7th, where we've starting out with our little tag collage, a big frame, another collage page, more tags, more collage and Polaroid frames. Just a really cohesive design. Lots of Polaroid frames for the middle. We have our 16th and 17th, the 18th and 19th, the 20th and the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and finally the 24th and 25th, another interactive tag. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this December Daily Traveler's Notebook project. I hope that this project has inspired you to maybe do something similar or to just pick up the Make It Merry kit by Spellbinders for your holiday card making needs. It is an amazing kit, and do stay tuned. I will have a card making video coming soon with this kit as well, because there are so many components you can actually do both. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There's exclusive content, you'll receive a handmade birthday card from me during your birthday month, monthly lives for my top tier patrons, and more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you're always notified when I have a video or go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.